Let's go ahead and get comfortable where you are, and I'll just begin by exploring and explaining briefly the stages that we're going to be moving through. The first is shamatha, shamatha is a Sanskrit term, or samatha in the Pali, which is really about just instilling through mindfulness a sense of calm, abiding, by just focusing your mind gently on an object of meditation. And as Thich Nhat Hanh just tells us, we don't have to try, quote unquote, to cultivate this wholeness that he describes, but just focusing on one aspect of our experience, bringing breath into that experience, letting everything settle, will have a ripple effect, like dropping a pond or a pebble into a pond. That ripple will just gently reach every part of it. And once we've settled within the body into this kind of openness, this sustained attention, and the mind settles, what can arise here is a sense of simplicity or insight, if you will, into the nature of the arising and also the dispersing of our thoughts. We basically begin to experience the coming and going of experience itself, especially mind, feelings, sensations. And the one who is holding that experience, the one who is embodying that sense of open awareness, this open natural awareness, is that source that Thich Nhat Hanh mentions in this reading, this source that has no subject object. It is just open awareness. When this experience of open awareness deepens and becomes fuller, we can see it beginning to take on the characteristics of what is called one taste, or a sense of awareness that is all-encompassing as it just arises naturally. And then from there, we relinquish the practice altogether. We basically just abide in an open way with mindful embodiment, with open awareness, into the preliminary stage of non-meditation, which is letting go even of the practice and just being in that source of awareness. So let's just take a moment of just being silent together and have a sense that we are here as a jeweled net. We are here as a circle, or maybe a series of squares, practicing together, that each of us has this very gentle, subtle presence. And as this presence opens, we are also presencing each other's presences. Presence isn't just ours, but it is all. So this is the garden that we're practicing in at this moment. And how wonderful that a garden is never just one flower. But when we see a garden, we see a bouquet, we see a garden of flowers. And all of this together becomes the garden. So we can think of our practicing in community in this way. It's really quite lovely. And breathing in, breathing out. those forgotten places within the body, breathing into those places, gently, lovingly, round and open, breathing out, settling, softening, present. Breathing in, just feeling that breath opening your senses, the inner senses of this body. Feeling the warmth of this vitality of the in-breath spreading throughout the body, this brightness, this lightness. Lifting the chest, lifting the upper body gently on that inhale, and breathing out, maintaining that gentle lift. Noticing that your spine is keeping you upright effortlessly. This is what the spine does. Gently following this flow of breathing in, then gently pausing and then breathing out. As the mind follows this flow of breath in the space, open, the breath out, the space, present. Following in an unbroken line of awareness, of attention. This is shamatha, just letting your mind be here and now with your breath. This is the calm abiding that arises by simply focusing the mind gently on breath or on body. The space around the body. The space within the body. The mind that wanders. The one who sees the mind wander and just gently guides the attention back to this breath. Sometimes it's helpful just to give the body permission just to let go, to settle. When we begin, we may feel as if non-doing is a product of settling from the doing. Naturally, when we come out of this practice, non-doing will be an arising of simple awareness. But for now, we just reclaim the energy that has been outwardly directed today, this weekend, this week. There's a saying in the Tibetan tradition that just as water, if you do not stir it, remains clear, so too does the mind, if left undisturbed, find its own way to peacefulness. Just as water remains clear if you do not stir it, so too does the mind, if left undisturbed, find its own way to peace. So letting it all be and taking your time, breathing. Calm, abiding, opening to simplicity. When we let the mind be, we get to know it a little bit better with a little more clarity. We see how the forms that arise disperse on their own. The feelings that arise disperse on their own. The forms of experience that arise disperse on their own, and surely there is a new one right behind it. But what we are gaining here by allowing this flow of arising and dispersing with just this still awareness is we see that each thought, as it disappears, reveals its true nature more than its arising. Its true nature as impermanent. As light as a cloud or as a feather. This arises by simply practicing simplicity in being. And watching what arises. This is not you. This is not self. This thought is not me. This feeling is not me. It is something that I'm experiencing, moving through me. But as it dissolves, another form perhaps arises. This is what we call insight, or vipassana. Allowing effortlessly just bearing witness and the breath, supporting this bearing witness, supporting this mindfulness in this body. Sleepiness, drowsiness. Breathe in a long inhale, short exhale. Helps us to wake up. A full, open inhale, filling the body with vitality. A short exhale. Or worry, restlessness, agitation, stress. Short in breath, long exhale. When the body settles and responds to these very gentle gestures, the mind does too, just as Thich Nhat Hanh tells us. Good reason to have patience. Experiencing this backdrop of awareness to be like an open sky, clear and bright, spacious. There is no subject and object here. There is just this open awareness. No preference. Thought is just thought. No good thought, no bad thought. Just thought energy. Coming and going like clouds. One taste. Open awareness. Non-dual openness. here, this experience perhaps can be felt as a very open, spacious form of equanimity. No inside, no outside. Just fullness of awareness without limits. And with an absence of content, of thought, of projecting, we may even catch a glimpse of this pristine clarity of this mind. And if you find yourself still doing the act of meditating, just drop it all together. Drop the meditation. Remaining in this awareness, where there is no longer any doing of any practice, just abiding in a sense of wholeness, fullness, spontaneity, that this non-meditation is immediate, here and now, naturally arising. And perhaps even just feeling your heart opening in this space. Just getting to know this basic goodness, unfabricated, unarising, yet very present and open. This is the truth of this moment. This is the blessing of our underlying nature. This is the source of our awakening. So we'll just abide here for a couple more minutes quietly until the bell rings. And before the bell rings in a couple of minutes, I'd like to invite you to just gently open your eyes while keeping your gaze inward, opening your eyes in a diffused sense of awareness, not focusing on anything in particular. You might breathe in with your eyes half open and focus on your breath to help you maintain that inner focus. Breathing out. Just the simple gesture of letting your eyes half open, but continuing to be inward and open. See if awareness remains here. As if the clarity of awareness is simply shining gently in your gaze. So just take your time. So sometimes it's good just to rub your palms together and covering your eyes and just rubbing the face, the neck, the chest, the belly. I always like to do the kidneys. Helps me wake up if I've gotten drowsy. The legs.